Right, here's another story from old Mummies. Andy Pandy's washing day. You have made your bow dirty, said Andy Pandy to his little teddy bear, his little bow tie. We will have to wash it. I know, we'll have a washing day and wash everything. Oh, that's good to do with the doll's clothes too sometimes on a sunny day. Andy Pandy picked up his little rag doll, Looby Loo, and took the two bright red ribbons out of her plaits. They weren't very dirty, but he thought that he might as well wash them too. Now what else can he look for? Oh, look at Looby Loo. Her hair is all getting into her eyes. Looby Loo wasn't at all pleased because when her ribbons were taken off her hair, it wouldn't stay plaited and it kept falling over her face. She didn't like it at all. And when no one was looking, she went and hid under the table. Uh-oh, hope they can find her. Teddy helped Andy Pandy to get the washing things ready. They poured the water and some soap flakes into the tub and stirred them up together. Soon the tub was brimming over with lovely soap suds. Oh, and the soap suds pretty. Shall we blow bubbles with them, said Andy Pandy. Because they often get all kind of rainbowy colours, hey? Soap bubbles. They forgot all about the washing and went into the house to fetch 2 clay pipes. Andy Pandy and Teddy blew lots of bubbles and ran about and tried to catch them and pop them. But whenever they caught them, it burst. Big one. Sometimes you can catch a big one for a little while. When they were tired of blowing bubbles, they remembered the washing and put all the things they were going to wash into the tub. There was Teddy's bow and a dress of Looby Loo's and her hair ribbons, some rompers, some pants of Andy Pandy, and a pair of socks. While Andy Pandy was busy, Teddy had fetched his own big rubber boots and had them filled right up to the top with water. What are you doing? Said Andy Pandy. You bad little bear. A bit naughty, eh? That's a bit silly, more really, to put soap bubbles, water into your gummies. Gummies should be to keep your feet dry. I was only washing them, said Teddy. Ah, that's what he was doing. Come along, Teddy, said Andy Pandy. We will take the wash tub and some soap and water into the garden and do our washing there. That's much better. Andy Pandy and Teddy went rub-a-dub-a-dub until all the clothes were clean, and then they put them into a basket and carried them to the clothesline. Oh, that was quite a heavy load. They pegged the socks on the line with little clothes pegs, and then Looby Loo's dress and ribbons, and Andy Pandy's rompers, his pants. But where is my bow? Said Teddy. It isn't here. Perhaps we left it in the water, replied Andy Pandy. Yeah, sometimes you can leave something, especially if there are bubbles and you can't see them. Teddy went back to the washing tub and put his paw in the water to try to find his bow, but he couldn't find it. He leaned right over the tub to see if it was at the bottom, and he fell in. Splash! Uh-oh. Andy Pandy rushed to pull Teddy out. Teddy was very wet. He shook himself hard, dry, like a dog, and made pools of water everywhere. But he had found his bow, and Andy Pandy pegged it on the line as well. When the clothes were dry, they took them into the house. Andy Pandy ironed the rompers and Teddy's bow and Luby-Loo's dress and ribbons. And when he had finished, he said, "Now we can all wear our nice clean clothes." Andy Pandy helped Teddy to put on his bow, and Teddy helped Andy Pandy to put on his rompers. But they couldn't put Luby-Loo's dress and ribbons on her. Why not? Because they couldn't find her. Do you remember where she was? "There she is, hiding under the table," said Teddy. Andy Pandy picked her up, and after he had put on her clean dress and plaited her hair and tied the bright red ribbons, Luby-Loo felt happy again. And they all looked very fine in their nice clean clothes. And that is the end of the washing day story. Alright, I think I'll do one more, and that's called Andy Pandy and the Scarecrow. Do you know what a scarecrow is? It's a man you can put in the field. You can dress up a few sticks and then put a hat on them and a coat on, and it scares the birds away when they eat the crop that you're growing. Look at this. One day, when Andy Pandy and Teddy were going shopping, they passed a gate leading into the farmer's field. Rex was with them, the dog, frisking about, and suddenly he stopped and began to bark. Then he squeezed through the gate and raced across the field to where a man was standing. He seemed to be feeding birds. "We must catch Rex," said Andy. "He'll frighten the birds." They ran after him. Rex was jumping up at the man and barking, and the birds had all flown away. "Don't be frightened," shouted Andy to the man. "He won't hurt you. He's only a puppy." The man did not move. When at last they reached him, they burst out laughing. The man was a scarecrow. "What's he for?" Teddy asked. "To scare the birds away from the seeds that have just been planted," said Andy. "So it's not a real man." "The birds didn't seem to be scared," Teddy said. "No, they didn't," said Andy. "Come along, or we'll never be back in time for dinner." They left the scarecrow, and the birds all came back. Uh-oh, it didn't work to have a scarecrow to scare the birds away. "Scared," chirped the birds, as if anyone could be afraid of an old scarecrow. What a noise they made! And then a crow picked the scarecrow's hat off. "Come on," he squawked. "Nice fresh seeds for everyone," because there was straw as hair under the hat. Next day, Teddy found a big box and asked if he could have it. "Yes," said Andy. "What's it for?" "It's a secret," Teddy said, "and I am going to play all by myself today." So, oh well. "All right," said Andy. "Aren't you be coming shopping?" "Not today," Daddy said. Andy Pandy finished clearing away the breakfast things, and then he started off with the shopping basket. When he passed by the farmer's field, the scarecrow was still there, and so were the birds, not taking a bit of notice of it as they picked and pecked at the newly planted seeds. Oh, there won't be growing much in that field. And he stopped. Somehow the scarecrow looked different. It was shorter, and it seemed to be moving the tiniest bit. He went across the field towards it, and this time the birds didn't fly away because Rex, the dog, wasn't with him. When he reached the Scarecrow, he could hardly believe his eyes. There was Teddy, dressed up in the Scarecrow's clothes, standing on the box with his arms stuck out, as stiff as 2 broomsticks. Look at Teddy, what a clever plan. Andy Pandy laughed till he cried. "Teddy," he said, "you do look funny." But Teddy didn't answer. He stood quite still until that crow, the bird, tried to pick his hat off. Then suddenly he jumped off the box and the birds all flew away. There they go. They got a big fright. The birds were very much surprised. "He's a real Scarecrow," they chirped. "We've never seen a real one before. We'd better go and eat someone else's seeds." And away they all went. Then Andy and Teddy built up the Scarecrow as he was when they had first seen him. Teddy had used the box to make himself a bit taller. And when the Scarecrow was finished, they left him standing alone in the field. As for the birds, they were too frightened ever to come back. And in the spring, when the young green shoots came up, Andy Pandy said, "Look, Teddy, the trick you played on the birds saved all the farmer's corn." Oh, yum, eating corn, that's what they were growing. Hooray for Teddy, what a clever bear. And that's the end of the story. And I forgot to tell that they have been written by Maria Bird. Maria Bird. Okay, that's the end of my story.